So Frumpy Dump's former spiritual advisor and megachurch pastor secured a sweetheart deal today after pleading guilty to actually abusing a child in the 80s. Robert Morris pled guilty to 5 felony counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child, and under a negotiated sweetheart plea agreement, he was given a 10-year sentence but will only serve 6 months in the county jail. He must also register as an actual offender and pay $250,000 in restitution. This is Robert today leaving the courtroom handcuffed to serve his sweetheart 6 months in the county jail. Now, it's very important to note that he must don't have very many ties, honey, because that's the same tie he had on when he was sitting down at that table with Frumpy Dump as the spiritual advisor to the President of the United States. But I digress. So back in June of 2024, Cindy Clemenshire publicly accused him of actually abusing her in the 80s when she was 12 years old over the course of 5 years. At the time when Cindy accused him publicly, he was the pastor of megachurch Gateway in Southlake, Texas. Apparently, he started this church back in 2000, and his sermons were broadcast to audiences around the world, and he had thousands of weekly attendees at that church. Now, after she publicly accused him, the church made an announcement saying that he was stepping down. Now, Miss Cindy told NBC News that this whole thing started back in 1982 when she was 12 years old, and Robert was a traveling evangelist in his early 20s who sometimes stayed with her family in Oklahoma. According to her, one night when she was 12, he invited her into his room and fondled her and touched her inappropriately. And that was the first of several encounters that would span over the next few years. Now, she never told anyone until 1987. She told her parents and leaders at the church. Nobody called the police, and they gave Robert their version of therapy. Now, in the mid-2000s, she went to the church seeking some restitution to cover what she had spent on processing her childhood trauma through therapy. So they offered to pay her $25,000, but only if she signed a non-disclosure agreement. So since she wouldn't sign the non-disclosure agreement, that fell through, and she went public in 2024, and in March of 2025, a grand jury returned an indictment on Robert, and he was arrested and let out of the clink on a $50,000 bond, and now he has struck a sweetheart deal to only spend 6 months in the clink. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. One would argue that it's good to have friends in high places. All right, players, put your thoughts in the comments. This is Double D Mo for the Black Accurate News.